Hey, what is up guys? Today I'm going to be doing an SKX mod using the crystaltimes bronze case. I've actually already done a mod almost identical to this one already. However, the first one was so good I had to pull a DJ Khaled and build another one. And if you stick around, I promise not to make any more bad jokes like that. So let's get into the build. So starting with the Baby Tuna SRP 637K chapter ring, as you can see it does not fit the SKX case. However, I feel like it's worth the extra work because it's going to provide some nice chamfered slots for the hour indices to sit recessed into and provide an extra visual detail. So in order to get it to fit, we're going to have to sand down these little feet on the bottom. I recommend 150 grit sandpaper. It's coarse enough to move enough for material where you're not sitting there all day, but it's also fine enough not to leave deep gouges in the soft plastic. After you sanded the feet, you can roll it up to about the same diameter as the chapter ring and just sand until you can get it to fit inside the case. It's going to take a while, but eventually you'll get there. Just take your time and try to keep it flat and even. And moving on to the movement, no pun intended, you just want to work your way around until you remove the little C-clip and remove the day wheel. This exposes the 4 screws that retain the date wheel guard. And you just want to remove these in a crisscross pattern. Once you've removed all 4, you can then remove the date wheel guard. And zooming in here, you just want to apply pressure to this plate while you're undoing the click spring for the date wheel. Then you can remove the date wheel. And you want to reapply pressure to that plate when you're doing the tension on the click spring. And once you have it in place, you'll see the date wheel backspin. Now you can reinstall the date wheel guard. It just aligns with 2 dowel pins, one at the top and one at the bottom. Now you can reinstall your 4 screws, and you want to reinstall them in a crisscross pattern. You also want to get all 4 of them started and then go back over them and tighten each one down. Now I'm checking the natural date change and the quick set. And here's the day wheel. And you just want to make sure this C-clip is pressed down firmly. Now I'm checking the quick set. Giving it a clean. And here's the dial. It's an SRP 227K Baby Tuna dial. I got this from watchpartsplaza.com. Now I'm just changing the time to 12 o'clock midnight so I know where to set the hands at. Now I can install the hour hand. This is also off of an SRP 227K. And I got this handset from watchpartsplaza.com as well. I'm just aligning it at 12 and then positioning it. And then I press down firmly with my Bergeon hand setting tool. And the minute hand is a similar process. Just getting it aligned, getting it semi-set, and then giving it one final press. Now I'm just checking the alignment, checking at 3, 6, and 9 o'clock. Date change right at 12. And I'm pretty happy with it. And here's the seconds hand. This is a turtle seconds hand. And I'm just getting it set on the pinion and then give it a firm press with my Bergeon hand setting tool. And there it goes. Now I'm just checking for spacing and giving it a clean. Set that aside in my state-of-the-art dust protector. And now on to the crystal installation. This is a CT119 and it comes in a pair with a Yachtmaster sloping bezel insert. And you just want to spin the case while you're installing the crystal. That way it gets seated down evenly. Now we can merge the case and the dial. And this is probably my favorite part because you really get a good sense of how the complete mod is going to look in the end. And it looks good. Now, I've done this a few times so I know that the stem for an SKX case with the crown guards and the crown at 4 o'clock needs to be around 13 millimeters. If you have a different style case, you should always measure and then cut the stem. I have other videos on how to do that. But in this case, I know it's got to be 13 millimeters. So I just measure that out and then I cut the stem. And then I reinstall the crown. Now I'll just lubricate the crown gaskets using some silicone grease. And now I can reinstall the crown. Now I'm just checking the crown functions, making sure it hacks and the time setting function works. I'm also checking the quick set date and day. After that's good, I set the hands to 10 and 2 because that makes it official. Now we can go on to the bezel installation. Using these 3M adhesive rings can be tricky your first time. So you want to remove the middle part first. Then you can remove the actual ring itself. Then you just install that onto the bezel. And you want to press down, working your way around. And you just want to make sure that it's not touching the crystal anywhere. So I give the bezel a spin. Now you can remove the top portion of the adhesive ring. And after you get that out of the way, then you're left with just the double-sided adhesive, and you can install your bezel insert. You always want to take your time and make sure that the insert is properly aligned. And once you're happy with the positioning, then you can go ahead and start pressing it down, working your way around. And making sure that it's firmly seated. And here it is paired up with a San Martin silicone strap with matching bronze buckle. And I'd say that the San Martin silicone straps easily rival my Seiko OEM straps, and I consider them an equal alternative. And here's a side shot of the CT119 bezel and crystal combo. And as you can see, they provide a seamless transition. crystaltimes also did a really good job with this bezel action. And it feels just like Seiko OEM, with the exception that everything lines up. And that's everything for today, guys. Hope you enjoyed. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.